I'm Iain Gilfeather, Technical Director of Fat Pebble, creators of ClayJam. Technical Director can be many things, but essentially I'm a programmer in a company the size of Fat Pebble, where there's only three of us, three main developers at the moment. My main tasks are the programming the game. I started in the games industry and my first job was part of a year in industry at university. I took a computer science degree at Leeds University. At that stage I didn't even know you could get a job making games, and I took a year out of that course to work on some very eccentric chess games called Enochian chess. The route I took via university, and then I went to work for medium-sized games companies and then slightly larger games companies. I think is a good route to take, working in established teams. You get to learn from working closely with other people. The main advice is to work with as many people as you can. Don't just stick to one discipline. Understand how artists in the games industry work, designers work and programmers work together, and then see where you go from there. You may stick with large AAA blockbuster teams, you may end up with a small indie crew. Mobile platforms are pretty powerful these days, but obviously not as powerful as the games consoles. So a lot of my job working closely with the art director, Chris, is to work out how we can maximise the use of the hardware, reduce the amount of texture sizes, both in terms of fitting in the memory of the device and in terms of reducing the size of the application itself. But the restrictions aren't too great. It's still mainly a creative process, but creative with a few boundaries. One of the unusual things about ClayJam is that it's stop motion graphics, as opposed to most traditional 3D computer games, which are 3D models rendered and textured. With the stop motion graphics, we're using a lot of sprites, which give us a good photorealistic quality but come with their own limitations. So there's a few tricks that we're doing to limit the size of our textures for making quite long sprite animations, reusing frames, incorporating some model animation at the same time as the sprite animation, which is things I haven't done before in computer games anyway. An average day might be coming. I know there's a few programming tasks that I need to get done. So if I was working on ClayJam, I might be making the pebble roll down the hill in a better way than it was yesterday, and then halfway through doing that we'll stop and have a discussion between the three of us about what's working and what's not working in the game. By the end of that discussion I might have changed what I was doing, I might be carrying on. Basically it's quite a fluid day-to-day work, which is great. When there's only three of you, you can do that. You can make decisions on the fly and change what you're working from minute to minute. It is a big challenge making a free-to-play game. So the first one I've worked on, I think the first one any of us at Fat Pebble have worked on. The key to it is you need to design for free-to-play from the start. As a games creator, games designer, you're also designing the business model. So the do is think about that up front, but that doesn't give you the ticket to success. There's lots of things that we would still like to do in ClayJam, which would make it a better free-to-play game. But I think for all of us, we want to make free-to-play games which are generally free-to-play, as in you can enjoy the game without paying anything, and there aren't too many underhanded tricks to persuade the player into parting with their money if they don't want to. We want to sell things that people genuinely feel they get value for in the game. Think about what your players would want to pay for, what you would want to pay for yourself in your game, and offer that. I probably play most of my games on mobile phones now. I think they're a great thing for squeezing in your gaming into a busy life. So I spend a few hours a week still, probably.